of creating a walk with a whole class of 25 to 30 kids, 50 pupils in one go. We've got them in groups, we've got them mapped, we've got their names on the maps, we've got their zones already done, but we don't have any chapters. Now, but generally, it takes an hour to do what I've just done. This is with year 5, 6, so sort of 10-year-olds, kind of around that sort of 10, 11-year-olds, around that sort of age. That takes an hour. To the next bit, probably takes another 20, 25 minutes, which, you know, with a whole group works very simply. So really now we've got this work and we can jump at home. We've got oak here, we'll have lots of others underneath. Come back to home, I could edit the next thing. Notice here we got 6 points, we've got no chapters, there's no content to this. So now we have to get each child to actually add their own chapters, and they kind of got to do this sort of one at a time. So this often is kind of becomes quite terminal heavy. And I'm very keen on kids not being cut adrift, but it's one of those problematic points where when one child's writing, what the other's doing. So what I do is I've obviously got other projects around this work, and I kind of often split the group. So this project, this story that we're working on is called A Riddler's Tale, and they're writing riddles and stories. So what I'll do is I'll make sure that they've actually got something to write and content to put in, and for those half the group who aren't actually typing in, they're actually working on their riddles. And the other half of the group who are happy, who are actually online, they're the ones that are going to log into the space. Now it's really important that they find their own walk, so they need to find the correct walk, and it always says at the top here what their walk is. And then they find their name. Of course, this is the name of the place that they're located, but it has no chapter, and insert chapter here. Now, often it's really convenient for a teacher when we print the work out that the name of the pupil is actually in the print. The chapter pin doesn't turn up actually in the story. This is kind of almost like a filing system, and the actual content doesn't have that in. So it's really convenient for here to write Billy and call this chapter Billy, and then actually write Billy's riddle in here. What is the, and we'd write a little riddle here. But I can't think of one right now, but I'm going to save that. But that's where Billy would type this in, and then look, and his riddle's turning up. And of course, then Amelie, she would write her little riddle here. So we'll put her name in. Sometimes I don't use their names, depends on the school and depends on what we're doing. And sometimes we put the name at the end of the actual text. What is hungry round the house and eats Lego? So there's a little riddle. Do you know what the answer might be? I'm going to click save on that. So Amelie's put her little riddle in. She might do another line to that riddle, and there's a really nice support learning resource we have for this, which breaks down riddles really easily. It says you write a complicated line, then perhaps a really easy line. Can I almost give it away? But there's a formula for writing good riddles, and that's lots of fun. And actually I find that these kids take to it like a duck to water. Solving riddles is quite complicated because it takes a lot of thinking, but actually when you know when you're starting from, then that becomes really quite easy. So get each of them to write their chapters and start their chapters. Now this is really good. It skills up each child in knowing their own walk, where they are on their walk, and where they actually put stuff in. What I do find is some kids every time try and add a new chapter, and there's another chapter underneath the first, and then they add another chapter under that. So I often have to come back and you know, it starts to create lots of different little bit messes, and I end up deleting these. So I'm going to show you how to do that now, and I delete it, delete that chapter. So I've just cleared that up. and you've got to encourage them to come back into the edit button and add more here. Add more to your riddle story. Save. What is more? What is hungry around the house? What is they add more to your riddle story? It doesn't make sense, but you kind of get the idea. So the kids have got to add into their words there. It's quite easy to delete them. Once they're deleted, they're gone. What I do find that is when children are writing, they sometimes take quite a while to type in. I'm really keen on, if they've spent sort of quarter of an hour typing, you click save, and then you edit, go back into the edit, and then you can carry on. Of course, the text, as if I just copy that. Oops. We can draw it a few times. Save that. You can see, edit it, it comes in again. We can add a little bit more. Save. Edit that. So you can see that it's a good way of saving to the system. Save there. Very simple as that. And as I say, that can be quite a time sponge, but then it comes back to actually getting the story written, the literacy with the pupils. Once they have done that, then you can kind of move on. Getting their actual words in here, and actually perhaps putting images in or drawings in as well, is quite simple. You'll have to do the beginning and end with the riddle story, and that's literally a cut and a paste, which is quite simple. So intro, insert new chapter, and then you can cut and paste in from the actual story and add it in. Click the save there, and then we can edit it back up and the end. So you kind of top and tail the story. The children add the pieces in the middle. Once you've done that, we can come back home and we can click on the template, Storywalk, Oak, allow, and this is like a preview of the actual walk. And look, it's telling us how far away we are from that walk. It says, Oak, hello, please go to the outdoor learning classroom. And we're going to click on this. My GPS is not working. And cheat that, open up, introduction to chapter, and that's the very first bit. So we haven't put not much text in here, but notice how the actual pins are not turning up on the output page. It's just the titles, text, and if we put images in, the image will be there. The pins are like a filing system that we attach words and images to.